Okay, so what our company does in 30 seconds. So we work with brands and agencies and connect them with creatives for projects. So everything from making drones fly around for Gift Gaff to building new bespoke DJ decks for Red Bull. And we just get the best amazing talent to work on the projects. So our USP is our knowledge, our network, and the fact that we all come from the industry. So we really understand the projects that are coming to us. We understand the clients. And we understand how to get the best solution for them, whether it's through a person, a team, an agency, maybe even a piece of tech that they don't know about. The idea for our company name came from you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So it was all about the kind of collaborative nature of the creative industries and getting the best people for the right projects. So actually how we work is we're a completely recommended curated network. So everyone comes in recommended to us by people that we trust.
So our goals for 2016 are numerous, really. One is we call ourselves fixers. So one of the things that we really want to kind of promote more is what we do as an industry. So we're not recruiters, but we're not an agency. We're sort of an amalgamation of all of those things. So part of our challenge is to kind of continue working with people to kind of illuminate what we do. And also we want to become a little bit more famous and kind of get the industry to know kind of what we do and the projects that we've worked on and all the crazy things that we have done over the last 2 years in particular.
Yeah, because we've been pretty under the radar up to now. Like we've been completely word of mouth, and got some amazing projects and clients. But I think maybe this is the year for us to shout about it a bit more.
Yeah. So, what trends are hot in our industry right now? So, the nature of our business means that we work across so many creative disciplines. So it's not just film, it's animation, it could be making things and building things. So we kind of get like an overview of loads and loads of different things. Jodie, you should answer some of this as well, actually. So for some of my clients, a lot of the weird things is a lot of animation-based stuff. A lot of it is lots of really interesting new ways of working with all the social platforms. So, 5 years ago, there was only really like Facebook and Twitter was starting and stuff like that. But now you have like 7 or 8 incredible social networks. So it's all about working with the talent who are on those social networks, who are really native to those platforms, instead of maybe using a one-stop solution for all of them. If you're going to work with Tumblr, maybe work with people who specialize in Tumblr and who come from that world and who have set up amazing pieces of work on that platform. So that's one of the big things that we're seeing. I think there's also a big thing for hybrid talent as well. So I think everyone's roles are changing and it's not, a lot of people are now required to do lots of different things. So if you wanted a freelancer to work with, it might possibly be that you need somebody who's part copywriter, part developer and understands basic coding, and also somebody maybe who's also can write funny stuff. So you've got a comedian, a writer, a developer, and then somebody who's just naturally creative. And now that's a role, and that's like a social content creator. So I think in every traditional role, if you're a project manager, now you have to be a project manager that now specializes in TV, but then also can do digital, but also understands outdoor and all that. So it's a real amalgamation of stuff. So we're seeing like people's talents, like a hybrids growing, and that everyone's very keen to try and take on lots of different projects. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's actually the same for agencies as well, so not just people. Agencies are now having to be experts at everything. So they're traditionally a PR agency. Now they're actually taking on event activations. They're doing digital projects. They're doing things that traditionally they wouldn't have been responsible for. But we're seeing that across everything, across media companies, across creative companies, across, basically everything. And I think that's where we really come in handy a lot of the time, because they've promised a client, like, yeah, of course we'll do this whole digital build on side of our PR, activation. Then they're like, oh, now we actually have to do it.
Yeah.
But I think so that's been a really interesting trend to watch, just as traditional companies are now having to do everything. Like they're starting to do more production, they're starting to do more activations, they're starting to do kind of hands in all pies. And brands are also taking a lot more in-house, their own creative. So brands are now wanting to have more ownership over their content. But often they need some support in that. But they don't want to go to another kind of bigger agency because that means that they're not going to have ownership over that content, but they still need the creators to make it. So I think that's a really interesting trend. So how we work with brands from ideation through to delivery. So we really come in at the start. We're not an agency, so we don't actually deliver the project and the work. What we really focus on is making sure that our clients are getting their projects done because they're working with the right people to begin with. So we really focus on the first part, which is the idea, the brief, making sure all the deliverables are really clear, making sure that they sort of understand what they're asking for, what's doable, what's not doable, and then making sure that they're working with the right people to actually achieve that. And then we work with a lot of our clients on an ongoing basis, so we get to really understand what their needs are, what they're wanting to do within the next year. And so we're there basically keeping an eye out for them on the ground with all of the different kind of tech that's coming out, all of the new kind of creative companies that are coming out, and making sure that they're aware of each other, so to help them kind of succeed better. So I guess it's the first part that helps with the end for the delivery, but we don't actually oversee the delivery. Favorite part of the working day? I'm so excited every time that I see one of our, like the end result of one of our projects. Like my big passion is bringing people together and like making things happen. Because I used to be an event producer and kind of head of marketing promotions, and you know, it was always so frustrating if you had an idea and didn't know how to pull it off, or like, oh, how's this gonna happen? And so, you know, to finally see some of these things like flying drones around London that looked like people with gift gaff, that was so incredible to be like, man, like we kind of helped put that together, and now it's there, and now it's this big activation that happened. So I get super excited about seeing these projects come to life.
It's for me personally, I get to speak to people like all day long who are super like, and like whether I like the brand that I'm talking to, I'm like, yeah, I get that, or it's like we're speaking to creators and they're like, man, I wish I could do that. Like I'm super enviable of everyone that can make and do incredible things. So we work in a super inspiring space because we see so much. And so that just ignites our passion, I think, to try and talk to brands and be like, there's like so much you can do. Like, and we can help with that process.
So the main difficulties brands come with. I mean, the first thing is needing to do a lot of work that's outside of their remit, so what their knowledge, like what they understand. So again, if they're a PR agency and all of a sudden they have to do some crazy installation as part of an activation that ties into the PR, a lot of the time they're like, we don't even know where to start. Like, what are we looking for? What is this person that could build this thing? What is this thing? So I think it's sort of a knowledge gap, maybe what I would call it, between having the project and knowing how to activate it.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's people when people don't know where to turn. And also a lot of stuff stems from like the quality of a creative brief. Is that we often see like if things were to fall apart, where they fall apart, and sometimes it's sometimes at that beginning stage, and so the value to us as being connectors and fixers, the value of a really good creative brief, to then translate everything that's in the client's mind to the creator's mind is so essential. So we really try, that's our biggest challenge, and we always try and challenge our clients with, is just like all the information you could possibly think, even if you think it's irrelevant. That's it's gold dust. Even if you think, I didn't think that would be worth sending to you. I was like, that's everything, you know, because I think sometimes when you work for a company or a brand, you're so involved in that space that the things that are every day for you are so everyday that you don't think you need to translate those to maybe a creative. The creative doesn't know anything about that world that you live in the day-to-day sort of things.
You should be working with people that are native to the platforms that you're going for. We see this a lot. They've done something in-house, it doesn't work, they're not sure why it didn't work. And it's because they're using hashtags in the wrong way, or you know, they're trying to they saw that on Instagram layout kind of spreads work, but then it just didn't feel natural when they did it. So what we've seen and what we've helped a lot of brands do is actually to partner with people specific to those different forms and mediums. So if you're going to be doing a Tumblr, you should be partnering with Tumblr influencers to make some of your GIFs and content. One, because then you'll have content that's actually made specifically for it, but two, they can also help retumble and get a lot more kind of bang for your buck. But I think we've seen that a lot, and I think people, they're really wising up to it. Like, they are coming to us now and saying we want to work specifically with you know, a photographer that has experience with Instagram that can prove it through their number of, you know, followers. So we're seeing that a lot more.
Yeah, 100%.